rak b'tzadikim, sorem upkidim. This is only benegir tzadikim, which the Rebbe refers back who are the tzadikim in the army, who are the higher elite, the ministers and the officers. Higher level, higher class. There's a pasuk in Tilim. Stop the sitting over there. In Kapitel, I think it's Kapitel Amud Zayin, Meis Bara. It's a Kapitel that he speaks about Yisyatzev al derech leiteiv, so he won't come. I think it's a different pasuk. Be'emes Rale Yimos b'shasis al derech leiteiv. In other words, if he is standing already on a not good way, it's a sure thing that he will not feel uncomfortable with evil, because he's heading that way. But I think it's another pasuk in Benegiyat Tzaddik about Tzaddik Meis Bara. B'chol Eifen, it is that the way he positions himself, this is the way that he will remain safe if he positions himself in the right way. If he positions himself that al derech leiteiv, so it's a sure thing that ra'le yimas, that he's not going to object to evil, and not going to feel uncomfortable with it. There is, I think it's a word from the Shalod after. It's a pasuk also b'negei ra'le yimas, speaks about a tzaddik.
It's in Tanya too, no?
Yeah, in Tanya speaks about Meis Bara, but it's a pasuk in Tilim, which is like expresses it in a very interesting word. I heard this word once from Rab Chaim Yud Shmuklaman. Kent Rab Chaim Yud Shmuklaman. He was nifter about 30 years ago. He was a Tomim in Lubavitch, in the city of Lubavitch, and he said this word. He said this word for me once. Told me the word, and I guess on which kapitel it is, because it's like it goes together. That because it's this, therefore he won't come to the Ra'le Yimas. He won't be Meis Bara. Choleif, it's probably another part in Tilim. Yeah, all right. So Meila Dal, the Rab Marash is saying like this: his hapcha means he is completely in the opposite, at odds with the Ra, in a very extreme way, and at odds with evil. And also the Aveda of the Aseitei is chafetz made. It comes to the other extreme, he's doing with a big desire. So chafetz b'mitzvahs b'cheshek v'ratzon. Dinyan zeh rak b'tzadikim sorem upkidim. This is only by tzadikim. Mashenkin iskafia, who what is the union of iskafia? The agam shein Meis Bara, although he's really not at strong odds with evil. V'gam b'negei levaseitei, and even when it comes to doing good, ein lecheshek v'ratzon b'mitzvos. He doesn't have a desire. He doesn't have a will. He's not doing it with a zest and a fervor. He forces himself to do it in a victorious way, which this is, as mentioned in previous occasions, the midas hanetzach that comes after davening. When a person goes away from prayer and he goes out into the day, the feelings, the emotions are not existing anymore because they fade over the course of the day. B'meila, what happens then is that he has to keep a resolution and make sure that he sticks to his guns, he sticks to his resolution. What is the resolution? Midas hanetzach. That whatever should be, as dry as it should be, but he made a decision he cannot do otherwise. He can't act otherwise. Differently. B'meila, this is midas hanetzach. It is considered like the hips of a person, that there's no emotions there, there's no intellect there, it's just hands and feet. Like a soldier. The union of Anshe Chayil. That's all. Kabbalah sailed. They get orders and that's what they do. Every Yid is shaykh to this Aveda. Kedisa betanya, as it's mentioned in Tanya, the Iskafia Sitrachar Beida Betokva Begvarasi Midas Habenenim. That the union of Iskafia Sitrachar, which means bending, subduing the negative and impure elements, during the time at the stage, the point that they're still with the fullest strength. This is an obligation, this is a midah, this is a conduct of a Beinani, the midas habeini midas kol adam. A Beinani is one that is between a tzaddik, a righteous person, and an evil person. So the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya, what the midah of Beinani is, it's not someone that sinned. If he sinned, he's not considered a Beinani anymore. So the Alter Rebbe explains that on a deeper level, it is someone that has the potential to sin, but he controls it. He controls it and drives it out of his mind. If it comes up in his mind,
Tanya says he has no shaykhus to sin anymore.
Right.
Never did and never will.
Right. But the nozak to them loshen, besides there is a machshava that comes his way, so he says he pushes it away. He controls it. Chazer v'nir, it's constantly, this is midas abenim, it's constantly being challenged. But he doesn't bring it out, menakeach alapeil. He doesn't bring it out from potential in a practical sense. That's why it's not called a Rasha. V'yesh leimar, and as the Chassidim would say, halavai beinani. It's echa darge. V'yesh leimar, dezeu gam ha'kesher netzach Yisrael im lulav u'minov. This is also, the Rebbe says, possibly we can say this is the connection of the being victorious of the Jewish nation with lulav u'minov, lulav and its kinds together, that we bind together, the 4 different kinds of plants. The minim shebelulav meirim ala sugim de Yisrael. The minim in the lulav show on the 4 different levels of Yidden, which is the lulav and the esrig, which is the lemon, and then there is the arovis, and then there's the adasim. Which these are the 4 different kinds of things that we make the blessing on in Sukkot. So the Medrash says this reflects 4 different groups of Yidden. There are Yidden that have a taste and a smell, which means Torah mitzvahs. There are Yidden that have Torah, study Torah, but they don't fulfill commandments. There are Yidden that fulfill commandments, but they're not big in Torah. And then there are those that don't have either. They have neither. B'meila, this is Ein Bem Leitam V'Lei Reach, like Arovis, what is it called? The liliths, the willows, that they grow near the water, Arovis, and they have no taste, no smell. Ein Leitam V'Lei Reach. But this is called Kabbalah Seal. This is called taking upon yourself the yoke of something, although it's dry. So this is what the Rebbe continues. V'gam sugachi tachna shabisrael, even the lowest level in the Jewish nation, shanim shalarova, that is compared to willow. She'ein balei tam balei reach, there is no tam, there's no taste and there's no smell. There's no taste and there's no smell. Yesh b'em keach hanitzach. They also can bring out in themselves this union of victory. V'adarabah dafke barova keach hanitzach nu b'yeser. Dafke daroves. The Keach HaNitzachan is even more yet. Oh, I see the Rebbe mentions it here, what we mentioned earlier, Leitam V'Leirech. Uki Yodua Shenetzach V'Heid, which are the hips of the person, similar, they reflect the hips of the person. Heim Badei Aroves, Heim Bem Leitam V'Leirech. They are Badei Aroves, they're considered willows that have no taste and no smell. What is it? B'Meila, what is it? There's no emotions, there's no intellect. Aber weil Yidei Shoaroves made him as Keach HaNitzachan, then Atzeach as HaYetzer Beide Betokvi Begurase, when the Aroves are made and awaken the Keach HaNitzachan, the Keach of the victory, to be Menatzeach, to be victorious on the evil inclination, while it is at the stage of its full prime strength, Hey Miskashri Mima Adasim Ba'Lulav. So they then connect with the Adasim and the Lulav, which means they reach them that level because the midas hanitzachim brings them, picks them up higher, uplifts them. Through them comes also something similar to his hapche. And as the Rebbe says, what is the me'ein? I don't know who put the order in. It's not a mugiti kamayim, but it's in order 101. So it says only me'ein, which means they still have the quality of subduing the negative elements. And it says, it could be the Rebbe mentioned it in the Maimer, and there was put into the footnote, from chapter 27, that Seifei liyes kodesh umuvdal be'emes masit rachara. Eventually the person will be sacred and removed beyond, in a true way, from negative elements. And this does not contradict to what it says prior to that, that maybe this is what he was born for, created for, that he should constantly be on the alert of subduing the negative elements. So the Rebbe says what it says that eventually he will be sacred and removed beyond everything is not benegir to all the inyanim. In other words, it doesn't really reflect that he will reach that level and that it should reflect in everything by him. The Mela, the one doesn't contradict the other. So the Rebbe says it's me'ain, it's similar because potentially he will get to that point.